Dreams are never pursued in a vacuum. Influenced by our past, our family of origin, our dream pursuit is a unique expression of our family legacy as much as it is our own individual agency. Join me today as we explore how our family's story intertwines with our own, shaping the very fabric of our aspirations and the path we choose to follow. That's all coming up next on Stop Doubting Your Dream. Stay tuned. Welcome to Stop Doubting Your Dream. I'm your host, Jeff Meyer, and each week I'll give you practical steps to turn your dream into a viable source of income so you can live without regret, reshape your future, and create the meaningful change you want to see in the world, all without leaving your day job. Let's dive in. Welcome back. This time of year, Easter weekend, has a celebration attached to it that has almost always included my family. And when I think of my family, and I think of this episode today and how family legacy influences our dream pursuit, I think of all the unique characteristics of my family, generations of Jesus followers on both sides, as far back as we can trace. Many church leaders, including many pastors, risk takers, traditional household roles, togetherness, staying connected through the years with the extended family, love of country, hard-working people, the value of community and supporting one another, duty, family pride. I happen to be the oldest, the firstborn of 3 children, institutional expectations that are part of our family's legacy, institutions that include church and school and family and the health industry as well. All of these and more, this is just a quick list, have influenced my worldview. I would be naive to say it hasn't influenced my thinking. It has contributed to the consistent narratives and self-talk that dominate my psyche. And some of that has been very helpful and healthy, while you can imagine others of that have been not so healthy, and I've had to shed those narratives throughout the years. If you've been around me any amount of time, you have heard me maybe say or encourage you or others with these words. At some point in our journey, we need to reach a place where we move up from a faith of heritage to a faith of conviction. Our worldview needs to be our own. Our pursuit needs to be our own, not just continuing to keep the heritage alive. At some point, we have to make this life that we're living our own. Yeah, valuing our family legacy, but also learning to live our own unique calling in the world. And so that's what I'd like to talk about today, if I could, for a moment. I think of the different aspects of a family legacy that influence who we are, influence how we think and how we behave. And I'm just got a quick list of 10 that I thought of to share with you that have the potential, more than potential, they actually impact us in such a way that it shapes who we are, right? So thinking about family legacy, there are, and maybe as you're listening to this, you could really write down the ones that really jump out at you that you want to explore more deeply, okay? Aspects of a family legacy that impact our viewpoint, our pursuit, our lifestyle. First of all, I think of family values and traditions. You know, those things that are passed down from generation to generation, the values and traditions that we espouse as being ours, they greatly influence our beliefs, our behaviors, and our worldview. These values can encompass everything from religious beliefs to attitudes toward education, work, relationships, marriage, family itself. They provide, these family values and traditions provide a framework for understanding the world, and they guide our decisions and they guide our actions. The second aspect I'd like to just highlight quickly is family structure and the dynamics of that family structure. We think about nuclear family, extended family, a single parent family, We think about the dynamics within the family, communication patterns, how we manage conflict, power dynamics in the house. Who makes the decisions? Is it a collaborative decision-making dynamic, or is there one person that makes the decisions for the family? All of these can have a significant impact on an individual's development. For example, in families where there's a high level of conflict, children may learn to avoid conflict altogether or develop maladaptive coping mechanisms to the conflict that rises within the family structure. Number 3, another aspect of family legacy is parental modeling. What did your parents model about parenting in your growing up years? Children learn by observing their parents' behaviors. Parents who model positive behaviors such as empathy, resilience, problem solving in a healthy way can positively influence their children's development. Conversely, parents who model negative behaviors such as aggression or substance abuse or passive aggressive behavior can negatively impact their children's development, and it affects who we are. It affects our lifestyle as well. Here's another aspect I'd like to highlight: parental expectations and support. Parents often have expectations for their children regarding, think about it, academics, career, personal development, independence. These expectations can motivate children to succeed, or they can create pressure and anxiety. Additionally, the level of support parents provide in helping children achieve these expectations they greatly impact a child's self-esteem and sense of competence. And then think about this aspect: birth order. I happen to be firstborn. I'm married to the youngest. Amy is the youngest in her family, and I'm the oldest. Birth order, the order in which our siblings are born, can influence personality development. You've probably read a lot about this. Firstborn children may be more likely to be responsible, achievement-oriented, willing to take risks, while later-born children may be more outgoing and rebellious, or maybe even a little more cautious. Birth order can also affect sibling dynamics and the roles siblings play within the family. And that brings us to the next aspect: sibling relationships. They play a significant role in shaping who we are. Right now, I'm finding it interesting to watch my 2 sisters and me sort out how to care for our aging parents, and the roles we're going to take in that largely flow from the roles that we had growing up. The sibling relationships can vary greatly from being close and supportive to distant and competitive. These relationships influence social skills, conflict resolution abilities, and understanding family dynamics. Siblings can also serve as role models, influencing our behaviors and choices. Another aspect of the family legacy is cultural and ethnic backgrounds. Outside of the family culture, the family structure, is how are we impacted by culture and the ethnic background that we carry with us? How does that influence family values, traditions, and expectations? These factors can shape how parents raise their children and the values they prioritize. Collectivist cultures may emphasize family harmony and interdependence. I think of my travels to Asia. While individualistic cultures, like here in the Western world, in the United States of America in particular, may prioritize independence and personal achievement. It impacts who we are and how we live. How about dealing with the aspect of our family legacy in regards to life experiences and trauma? Life experiences within the family, such as divorce, death, illness, or financial hardship, can have a lasting impact on individuals. Traumatic experiences shape how individuals view themselves, how they view others, and the world around them, influencing their behavior and their emotional well-being. Two more to go on this list, the 10 attachment styles. Think about the attachment styles between children and their caregivers and how that can influence relationships and behavior throughout life. Secure attachments are associated with positive outcomes, such as higher, healthy self-esteem and better interpersonal relationships, while having insecure attachments with our caregivers can lead to difficulties in forming close relationships and even regulating our emotions. And the last aspect I want to talk about on this list of 10 is our socioeconomic status. Our socioeconomic status can impact a family's access to resources such as education, healthcare, opportunities to be socially mobile. These factors also can influence children's development and future outcomes, including educational attainment, employment opportunities, and health outcomes. Before we move on, I just want to take a moment, and even as we look at these 10 aspects of a family legacy, and we can think about family values and traditions and family structure and dynamics, and think about parental modeling, parental expectation to support birth order, sibling relationships, cultural and ethnic background, life experiences, trauma, attachment styles, socioeconomic status. We are not stuck with these aspects. Whatever our experience, I want to remind you, you have the freedom to choose how you will respond to these aspects of your family legacy. This is your one life, and you are free in your response. You are free to choose how you're going to respond to these aspects. So I don't share the aspects as a way to say that this is the cards that you have been dealt. You're just going to have to deal with it. You're stuck. No, I share these so you can be aware and so that you can make a healthy choice moving forward. Sometimes we're not even aware of how these aspects impact our viewpoint, our choices, our pursuit. So when you think about you are free to choose. What are some of the choices we can make? When considering the role of family legacy in our dream pursuit, how can we adapt? What are some of the things we can do to help us navigate the sometimes choppy water when we think about family legacy? Well, I've got 5 things, suggested ways that we can respond, that we can adapt, all right? Number 1 is we might need to reconcile our past and our present. You may need to reconcile your past experiences and family history with your present aspirations. This may involve acknowledging and accepting both the positive and the negative aspects of your family legacy and finding a way to integrate these into your sense of self. You may want to adapt in this way. Instead of just reconciling your present and past, you may need to choose to forge a unique path forward. While family legacy can be a powerful influence, you might need to forge your own path and pursue dreams that align with your own values and aspirations, and to discard those that have not been helpful to you in the past. You can embrace your own path, even and especially when they differ from those of your family. You may choose to respond and adapt by building resilience. Understanding and accepting your family's legacy might require resilience, particularly in cases where the legacy includes challenges or adversity. Leaning into the resilience can help you navigate these challenges and continue pursuing your dreams despite the setbacks that your family legacy brings you. I think one of the most important things in terms of adapting to our family legacy and finding our own way forward is seeking support. We might need to seek support from friends, mentors, even mental health professionals. They can be helpful and very important partners in navigating the complexities of family legacy and its impact on our dream pursuit. Having a supportive network can provide encouragement and guidance along the way and give you courage to make the hard choices that might need to be made. And then finally, another aspect that you could choose, and another way of adapting you might choose, is choosing along the way to reevaluate your goals and your values, to step back, to reevaluate your goals and values in light of your family legacy. Is there something that you're pursuing that has a different value foundation than your family of origin? You might need to adjust those goals and those values. This process can involve introspection and self-discovery, as well as a willingness to adapt and grow. You don't have to be who you always have been. Now, when I think of the aspects of a family legacy, and I think the responses, healthy responses to that family legacy, I can't help but thinking about the way of Jesus. And I want to share a few examples in the scriptures that I think really give us a deeper understanding of what we're talking about with this episode. Jesus, in Matthew 9, has this wonderful metaphor that he shares with his followers to try to help them embrace tradition of the religious tradition that they're following, while also embracing change to help new believers embrace the faith. And he uses the metaphor of a cloth in Matthew 9. He says, no one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch will pull away from the existing garment, making the tear worse. Then he uses another metaphor. He says, neither do people pour new wine into old wineskins. If they do, the skins will burst, the wine will run out, and the wineskins will be ruined. No, they pour new wine into new wineskins, and both are preserved, the wineskins and the wine. And so when we think about this adaptation of our family legacy, these two metaphors can be very helpful for us. There may be a point, if we're pursuing drinking new wine, enjoying new wine, producing new wine, we will need new wineskins to contain it and to hold it. If we are seeking to fix a piece of clothing, we may need to consider new patches on a new garment instead of taking a unshrunk cloth and putting it on an old garment. It might make it worse. And then in Mark 7, he actually scolds the people. He says, you have let go of the commands of God and are holding on to human traditions. And he continued, you have a fine way of setting aside the commands of God in order to observe your own traditions. If God is nudging you and prompting you to co-author with him a new thing in the world, if he is prompting you to pursue a new dream, we may need to embrace his calling and lay aside old traditions that are keeping us stuck and not following his way. And then sometimes Jesus says in Matthew 4, we just need to forge a new path. And in Matthew 4, he says, come follow me, and I will send you out to fish for people. Drop your nets, drop what you've known, and follow me into a new way. And what we do see over time and over these 3 years of public ministry with Jesus is that these individual characters who follow Jesus, the disciples, they don't lose who they are. They still are the same people, but they are embracing following Jesus and fishing for people, putting into practice what they've learned in the fishing world into helping them reach people according to the mission of Jesus. Or as he said in Matthew chapter 5, in his famous, probably most famous sermon, the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount, he describes the values of the kingdom of God. And it shows that Jesus teachings are radical and sometimes go against the norms of the society in which we live. We have to shed societal norms to walk in the kingdom way of Jesus. As you reflect on your family legacy, maybe taking this list of 10 aspects and just spend some time with them. And you reflect on your own unique calling. And you hold those, one in one hand and another in another. Maybe take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle and write out your family legacy. What were the family rules that have been implemented by you through the years? And then what are the rules and the values and the norms that it's going to take to pursue your own unique calling? Consider, as you look at that sheet of paper, or both of those hands, how can you honor your past while also forging your own path forward? How can you embrace the lessons of the past, but also have the courage to pursue your dreams and to live authentically, to live being real, being honest with yourself about who you are and who God's calling you to be? In order to lead you in that process, I just want to leave you with a few final questions here for self-reflection. Get a piece of paper out, ready to write these down. You ready? Or pull these off of the transcript in my show notes page. How has your family's history and legacy supported and fueled your aspirations? How has your family's history and legacy supported and fueled your aspirations? And then the flip side of that coin, how is it conflicting with them? And maybe you can find some themes. Here's how my family's legacy is supporting my aspirations, and here's how it's conflicting with my aspirations. Okay, question number 2. What steps can I take to honor my family's legacy while also pursuing my own dreams and aspirations? How can I honor and also be true to my own pursuit? And then the final one is, how can I use the lessons of the past to guide me in creating a meaningful future for myself and others? Man, if you take some time with these questions, I'd love to hear what you discovered. Thanks so much for joining me today in another episode of Stop Doubting Your Dream. What stood out to you from this episode that you want to act on? Share it with me. Drop me a note, jeff@jeffmeyercoaching.com. Right now, you can go to my website, jeffmeyercoaching.com, click on the podcast tab, and in the bottom right-hand corner, leave me a voicemail if you want. It's just one way to share with me your insights from this episode. Next week, we're going to talk about imposter syndrome and how we overcome it so that we can embrace our potential. Until next week, always remember the journey towards your dream begins when? Today. Take action with a single step.